So many goddamn tournaments happened in this weekend, and we have to cover them all.
Take a look at who I am now. I'm stronger than ever. And if you ever doubted me, you should know better.
April 6th and 7th this weekend. We're currently actually still Sunday the 7th, and that's pretty nuts. We have had 5 events so far, and there's another one running. So we've had Indonesia, who has had 4 events, and then America, Atlanta specifically, has 2 events. One of them is Premium Team League, which is still going on. I will make a separate video for that one. As always, we check these results, and that way we can actually analyze the meta since we have real results, and then over the time you can start watching all of these videos in a meta-analysis playlist. You can see, this is what the meta is like, because we had all these results compiled. So first of all, we have BSF, so Springfest Indonesia Standard, which is Team League. Special thanks to Winning with We're Up for these specific results. We had 3 Murakumo. Note one thing, I have to say this every single time. Team leagues are usually gonna be more diverse than regular single player tournaments because you are forced into having 3 different clans in your team. So the top 12, by default, you can have a maximum of 4 of the same clan. So for example, here, Indonesia Standard, you have 3 Murakumo, which doesn't look like a lot on the pie chart, but it does mean 3 out of 4 of the top teams had this clan in them. So that's a pretty major turnout. Then we had 2 Ezel. This is pretty major, especially because the winning team actually also had an Ezel. Well, I think it was Gold Paladin, and then some people told me it was Ezel. Then we have 2 Great Nature. Great Nature still doing well. What's actually really interesting here is that more than half of this top 4 is Excel clans. Then we had a Royal Paladin, Angel Feather, 1 Shadow, 1 OTT, and 1 Deleter. This has been pretty rare, so it's cool to see that they're actually getting some results. I'm guessing it's handy that there was a lot of Excel, because at least that way they can excel. Anyway, if you're interested in a playmat, the Zero Damage Game playmat will only be available for a couple more days, so be sure to pick that up. Link in the description. Use the code SAVIOR to get 10% off. Literally, the mat will be gone, just like many other older mats. Poof. Next up, we have ACQ Indonesia Premium Single Player. So again, it's going to be less diverse. You're no longer forced into running 3 different clans. We have 4 Anj, big turnout, not as bad as the NLK days, but this is still a big result. 2 Ezels, 1 Victor, and 1 Nubatama. Now what's interesting is Victor has been topping every single event for some reason. Like, go back to all of these videos I've been doing where we analyze every single tournament result. Victor keeps coming back. It was just forgotten. People didn't even consider it, and then suddenly, poof. Like, it's a good deck. We've been saying that for a long while, but topping every single time good, that's interesting. Another thing to note is that Ezel actually ended up winning this specific event. So you had first place Ezel, second place Anj, third place Anj, and fourth place Nubatama. Also, another interesting thing, someone from the We're Up guys actually told me that the first table at the beginning was just a bunch of Anjes. So it's not even that, oh, the deck is so broken that it just takes all the fucking tops. It's also just overrepresented as hell. Apparently like 25% or more of the tournament were Anj players. Then we had BSF Indonesia Premium, meaning Team League. Another really interesting turnout. We had 2 victors. 2 in the top 4. If we have to talk about tiers, right? People have been saying, oh, Victor, you know, is a solid tier 1.5 contender, or if you don't believe in 1.5, a solid tier 2 contender, but it just keeps popping up again and again and again, and now it's part of like the most represented clans in this whole damn top 4. Like, what the hell is that? So 2 Victor, 2 Ezel, 2 Anj, 2 OTT Geese, and then we have another Nubatama, another Luard, again, keeps popping up. It's a solid deck. It's very consistent. I think the only bad thing this deck can have happened to it is like not seeing your Luard grade 3. But you filter so damn much early that you will see it. Then we have 1 ZTB, that's interesting, and 1, and this result is so dumb, 1 Oracle Think Tank deck, but it's a standard Oracle Think Tank deck. Now, I do have to say, it literally has no strides, okay? I do have to say, this deck apparently, I'm just hearing from other players, got carried like crazy. But then at one point, it did get 1 win against a Great Nature deck. A fully built Great Nature deck. But because said person did the Zoa turn and forgot that Talented Rhinos restricts grade 0s. So said turn was guarded with a draw PG, even though that wasn't allowed. And this way, this specific deck got its win. But apart from that, it was just carried by its team. So it's not like, oh, I'm just gonna start playing OTT without a G-Zone in Premium. It's gonna be so fucking good. Like, no. From what I'm hearing from other people, it just got carried like crazy and got the one really stupid win. But still, it's a hilarious result, so I really want to share it with you. Then we had ACQ Indonesia, standard, again, single player. All these ACQs are single player, and then the BSFs or Springfests are multiplayer team league. And this one is interesting because this one, 8 out of 8 were different decks. So we have our top 8, single player. Every single top deck was different. One of those decks was Dantarian. This is, you know, pretty cool. We haven't seen a single result from DI. People talk shit on it because, well, obviously it's not a super great deck, but it did get a top. Now note that in standard, there is quite a bit more variance. So you can get lucky and just outsec objectively better decks. That just happens. End of story. So this is Ontarian list. We do have it. This is the list. This may be the way to run it, but don't assume that it's some magic list that will magically make you beat high tier decks, you know. There's still some variance involved in getting a lower tier deck to the tops. Then we have one Murakumo, obviously, an Angel Feather, duh, a Bermuda Triangle, duh, a Royal Paladin, duh, an Aqua Force. An Aqua Force. Yes. So we don't have the list for this one. It's unlikely that it's a special magic list. There's just not enough cards to do something special. So again, there's quite some variance involved in this. You are able to beat higher tier decks here and there by just, you know, dice roll. But it happens and it got top, so that's cool to see. Then we have one Great Nature and one Pale Moon. Again, cool to see. The thing with Pale Moon is it has quite a bit of attacks. So it can catch people off guard. If your opponent doesn't get defensive triggers, it can be painful. If it sees a lot of protect matchups who don't get defensive triggers, it can be very painful. But the things I just mentioned are also why we don't see it topping way more often. Finally, we also had the Springfest Atlanta for standard results from yesterday. Again, premium is being played out right now. Special thanks to Farouk Barakat and Diadze from my Discord. Farouk not from my Discord, I just know him. He's the guy who wanted to go in a stringer at the event and have people play against him, but then the judges wouldn't allow it. I guess I get why. It would have been funny. So special thanks to Farouk for the results and Diadze from my Discord. This one is nuts. Because, as I said before, Team League is gonna be more diverse because you're forced into 3 different decks. But the maximum turnout you can have in top 4 of a deck is 4. And this is what happened. In top 4, there were 4 Murakumos. Now, that is very comparable to having a top 8 full of 8 of the same deck. Now, I know some people will say like, oh, it's not completely the same. No, it's not completely the same. But the analogy is there because every single team in top 4 had a Murakumo. That is a big result. That is a major thing. So something to really keep in mind. Then we had 2 Neo Nectar, still a great deck. 2 OTT, 1 Shadow Paladin, 1 Narukami. Cool to see, you know, we have quite some Naru fans in the comment section. 1 Pale Moon, yet again. So again, we have 2 tops of Pale Moon this weekend. And then 1 Angel Feather. So nothing majorly surprising in this specific top 4. I think we all know Murakumo is a very strong deck, but them having all the slots is pretty major. So that is all for today. Hope you found this interesting. If you did, please subscribe to the Solemn Vanguard channel. Click the bell button to stay up to date. Like the video if you liked the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I will see you soon. Ciao.